have like a list of little tasks that I need to get done round the house, and the one that never gets done, and I feel bad about it every day, I always think about it, is whenever I put a porn on, I'm at the beginning of a wank. It's another fantastic day as a self-employed lady. I think it'd take you seconds to put some blue tack or a bit of tape over the camera of your laptop, and you never do it. And one day someone's going to hack into my laptop and steal footage of me wanking. That's the thing, yeah? Then it's career over or the start of a glorious new career. This is what stops me doing it, I think. Don't flatter yourself. Realistically, who's going to want to watch footage of a 33-year-old woman in full winter pyjamas? Sheets pulled up to my chin because I'm a Catholic. Don't want Jesus to see. Or my dead grandparents, dirty voyeurs. Triple chins, just... completely dead-eyed. Who needs facial expressions, man? Facial expressions are for when you're with other people. There's a market for that, though. There's a market for dead-eyed Scottish women in porn. I know it. Whenever I get asked to describe my comedy, I always say it's accessible, observational stuff, suitable for the whole family, right? Then you start reading descriptions of yourself over the years. Mine's are always consistent. They're always blunt, brutal, forthright. I don't read reviews, but I saw one by accident recently. It opened with, "Fern Brady scares me." That was a nice review. Who's this scary woman they're talking about? I'm a lovable, nice girl. And I'd always wondered why people thought I was aloof. And then I was doing a show in Berlin, and a woman came up to me at the end, and she said, "Just so you know, your entire set is a description of a woman with Asperger's. You should look into it." One guy just laughed there like, "Oh, thank God she realises." It was the 10th person that had said it to me, right? One of them was me into the mirror every day. Looked into it, started getting diagnosed. I'll be honest, guys, it's not a huge surprise. I've always felt like an alien trapped in a beautiful woman's body. The rest of the show isn't a poignant unpacking of the diagnosis and how I came to terms with it, and then we all have a little cry. No. I'll just tell you where it affects me, right? I thought it'd be cracking to get to a point in comedy where people recognise you for your comedy and say they like your stuff. Then it started happening, and I was like, oh, I forgot I don't have any social skills off stage. A guy came up to me in the airport. He was like, "Hey, I've seen you on YouTube. I really like your stuff." In my head, when this happens, I'm always like, thank you so much. The way I responded to this guy, however, was by silently holding out both my hands and holding both his hands and just smiling in his face dementedly, like Kate Middleton when she meets a heroin addict at the opening of a community centre. Don't let that put you off chatting to me after. Just know I've been coached in how to talk to you by my autism therapist, Jemima. I'm not good at being diplomatic. That's my problem. And it led to me having my first scandal in comedy in the last year. Dead exciting to have a scandal as a comedian. Mine started because I was doing some material about a political party called the DUP. Now, some of you know who they are. If you don't, they're these Northern Irish Christian politicians. They hate women and gay people, even though their leader is a stone butch lesbian who doesn't realise she's gay yet. Her name is Arlene Foster. Gay marriage was illegal in Northern Ireland until I started touring this show. Coincidence? I did some material about Arlene Foster, saying she was a homophobe because she was secretly gay, and I then performed it on a little-known channel called BBC One. The BBC lawyers checked it. I thought I was fine. And then the programme came out 2 days later, and I was made aware of a newspaper story in the Belfast Telegraph, Protestant newspaper. This is for an American audience, but I couldn't help being like, we'll do some sectarianism for the Glasgow audience. Belfast Telegraph did a newspaper story with the headline, "The DUP demand an apology from the BBC over comedians' gay jibes." And then there was an unflattering picture of me. I was very excited. But my agent, Chris, he's always trying to control what I do on Facebook and Twitter because I'm what the industry would call a liability. He got on the phone straight away. "Don't get into an argument with these politicians. They're not messing about. They'll shoot your knees off. Stay off Twitter. Stay off the internet for one day." "Okay, Daddy, I'll be good." In my head, I'm like, I haven't felt this alive in years.
We started trying in 2016. My wife turned to me on the settee one evening and she goes, "Josh, I want to try for a baby." And I said, "I want to try for a baby as well." Together? Yeah, perfect. Let's do it. Result. Because we've been together a long time at that point, and we've been together for years and years, and when you get with somebody really young, you can't really imagine what it'd be like to be with them for years and years. I tell you what I mean, we went out for quite a posh lunch recently at a very fancy restaurant, if I do say so myself. And the young guy that's letting us in, he's about maybe 18, 19, this lad, and we hadn't booked, and it's 1 o'clock in the afternoon. This young guy, he looks around the restaurant, he goes, "I can squeeze you in, but we'll need the table back by 5. What the fuck do you think we're going to be speaking about for 4 hours in a Las Iguanas? You do your bit, mate. It's back in 15 minutes. Just get us in there. She hates going for food with me. My wife hates going out for dinner with me. She keeps telling me at the minute, right, like I've got ADHD. She keeps saying to me, "Josh, you've got ADHD. I think you've got ADHD. I think you should get tested. I think you've got ADHD." Yeah, well, I think that's a very arrogant thing to tell somebody they've got if you're not a doctor. Like, let's break that down for a second. Like, you've told me a story. I've lost interest in that story. And your first thought is that I must have some kind of psychological condition. The arrogance of that. Like, can we maybe work on your storytelling skills before we put me on mind-altering medication? Should we try that first? I'll tell you the truth, I'm not a good husband. I'm not a good husband, I'll be honest. I'm not unfaithful or controlling, but I am incompetent, and that can really break a person over the years. I don't know what this says about me, right, but I'm not my wife's emergency contact. It's not a great sign, that, is it? I just make mistakes. That's all it is. I just make mistakes in our marriage. The worst mistake I've made in our marriage, right, was actually during one of the lockdowns. Now, my wife works in a school. Her favourite dinner in the whole world is beef stew in the slow cooker. Very exotic woman. That's her favourite dinner. One day, she gets up early to go to work. She puts this beef stew into the slow cooker. She goes out to work. She texts me at lunchtime saying, "Can't wait for this beef stew. Really looking forward to it." Gets in, 5 o'clock in the evening, rubbing her hands together. "Can't wait for this beef stew. Been looking forward to this all day." What neither of us realised was that at about 12 o'clock that day, I'd accidentally unplugged the slow cooker so that I could plug in Alexa to ask how old Ronan Keating is. She was fucking livid. She's like, "What were you thinking?" I was like, "I don't know, late 30s, early 40s. Yeah. He's 47. I've got to tell people. That's one of my favourite things to do, actually, is to listen to music. I take my little boy into the kitchen, we put Alexa on, and we dance to a song until he falls asleep. It's magic. He's a 13-month-old white boy from the middle of England. His favourite song, of course, is In the Club by 50 Cent. You know that one? You know that one? Yeah, you're a fiddy crowd, I can tell. Now, did you know, right, that in that song, 50 Cent is singing, "You'll find me in the club, bottle full of bub," as in bubbles, as in champagne. Give me a cheer if you knew that. Yeah. Give me a cheer if you thought it was, "You'll find me in the club, bottle full of bud." Yeah, me too. As if that is something that a millionaire rapper would be bragging about. That's right, ladies. Full bottle of Budweiser over here. Want some scratchings? Pretty you get some scratchings, don't worry about that.
But I was on the bus the other day and tragically it broke down. But luckily there was a bus replacement train. This might not have happened. I'm on the spectrum, obviously. Look, my personality will be trickling out throughout the show. Like, I don't mean to cast aspersions, but 61, you know, like... I'm like the banana your mum packs in your lunchbox, permeates through, makes your sandwich taste like a Boost juice. You're like, oh, my ham and cheese tastes like a Bananarama. Oh. I was diagnosed on the spectrum because when I watched the movie The Titanic, I empathised more with the boat. For me, 9/11 was just structural damage. Scaffolding is my spirit animal. I like the way it supports a building in the early stages of its development. Scaffolding's like tricycle wheels for a skyscraper. It's like, you can do it, PricewaterhouseCoopers building, fucking send it. But it's a thing now, guys. It's called neurodiversity, which means there's a diversity of brain types. So neurotypical, that's like being white. That's like you watch Ted Lasso, do meal prep, go to Cotton On just to Shazam the music. Don't you worry, child. What's this one called? I can't quite hear the lyrics. Nasty. Being neurotypical means you think the way Chris Hemsworth looks. I think the way Ronald McDonald looks. And I also look the way Ronald McDonald looks, which is a 2-for-1 meal deal for you guys in terms of working out what I'm about. So that's neurotypical. That's in the middle of the bell curve distribution. Then on the very end, you've got people who can smell prime numbers. 61, just headbutting mirrors, going to the Joker 8 times. Ticket for 2, 1 for me and 1 for the hammer. Because when you're watching that movie, every head looks like a nail. It's not relatable, but yeah, But no, even Woolworths acknowledges it's a thing now. Woolworths now has 1 hour of quiet time a week where they turn off all the music so the autistic people can go and get meagering without having a seizure. Which feels a little disrespectful, doesn't it? Just to set an hourglass and be like, scurrying like rats, okay? You got an hour before Nicki Minaj comes back on and your face plant into the avocado display. Gonna have to do an autopsy on this pile of space cadets that didn't get out in time. We used to cremate them on site, but if you inhale the fumes, you can't read social cues for a financial year, so Woolworths says they're providing a safe space for the nation's most vulnerable. Fuck off. There's a doomsday clock ticking in the background while I panic buy a Fibonacci sequence of items. You've created a fucking escape room for Rain Man. It's like if there was only 1 hour of wheelchair access a week. And then they raised that ramp like a drawbridge on a medieval castle. Just beep, beep, beep. Sorry, Gary, my liege, you're feeding windows over, my lord. After 12, it's a crawl space. I like to do medieval reenactment in the CBD because it upsets people. Do you ever see that? Just these growing men, just dressed in full chain metal. Just going, stand down, squire, it's only a flesh wound, no need to apologise. Just these dorks impersonating the jocks of the 12th century. Do you think in 800 years nerds will be pretending to play State of Origin? But soon everyone's going to have autism because of the vaccine, and it's more of a slow-release drip feed. You'll see, 61, you'll find out. I can't wait, because Woolworths will be as quiet as a Tibetan monastery. It'll be the other way around. There'll be 1 hour of Buble for the 4 remaining Sky News viewers just to... You go to Woolworths now, it's like a nightclub. Tonight's gonna be a great night. No, I'm trying to find batteries for my sleep apnea mask. I'm wearing a suit and a backpack. Things are not going well. Because the suit says you're going places, but the backpack says you've got 2 trains and a bus in your future. You're wearing your car, you loser. That's what it is. A backpack's just a car for losers. You're fucking full of used Tupperware because you can't afford food court sushi, dipstick. Just scanning the products. Beep. Beep. Unexpected item in the baggage area. If I was a baggage area, I would expect all items. You're a passive receptacle for objects, cunt. Get with the program. Stop sounding the bullhorn to summon the last human over to accuse me of stealing. I am, but it's a coincidence. So, like... Fucking goddamn it. See, I was mentally ill before Facebook. Now everyone's got it, but there's no term for us thoroughbreds that were out there in the 90s when you had to be an absolute weirdo to have it. You had to have a trench coat and black eyeliner and be listening to The Cure. Just now blokes can get it. It's cultural appropriation. It was supposed to be for nerds and women. Now football players are crying, fuck off, it's not for you. It's for people who start all their emails with sorry. When I was growing up, I got bullied for being a crybaby. Now it's the opposite. Be vulnerable yourself, cock. Fucking open up, mate, or I'll open up the back of your head, let the demons out. Trying to destigmatise the black dog, you dog cunt. I saw my high school bully, he had a neck tattoo of the number for Lifeline. He's like, open up and tell them about it. Now I'm sponsoring him for a Mullets for Mental Health fun run. It's time to re-stigmatise mental health.